investigate the Salton Sea cryptid I photographed, and I compare it with the Salton Sea creature from the 1957 movie titled The Monster Who Challenged the World. And one detail they share is so specific, it seems unlikely to be a coincidence. I also made a short prequel to the sequel of The Monster Who Challenged the World, only this time, instead of radiation that brings him out, it's fracking. You're watching Cryptids with me, your host, Jenna Bosiger, and if you share in my interest in cryptids, then please subscribe to my YouTube channel. I really do appreciate it. When I lived in India, I used to spend a lot of time at the Salton Sea at a specific location. And as a photographer, I took many amazing photos here. Something about the quality of light is unique and special, and it creates a lot of amazing color orbs and rays. And I used to come here at the most ideal time of the year during the winter, the early spring or the late fall, and the weather would be absolute perfection with butterflies and wildflowers and just the echo of an ancient past that had a lot of hustle and bustle, because this used to be a very active location in ancient times. So it's one of my favorite places on earth, and I was very happy to be there back then with Timber, although she didn't always love this location. I was so thankful and amazed at the beauty and how easy it was to walk around in the area, but maybe Timber knew that some of the beauty was just an illusion, and maybe the echo of the ancient hustle and bustle that I feel means the place is haunted, and the glistening white sand shores are actually not made of sand, but rather they are dead bones from over the ages, an environment on the decline. Not to mention if this is a real cryptid and this creature has a population here, it's no wonder she didn't like it there. But the beauty of this location is also seasonal, because at other times of the year, I can't go at all. In the summer, there were times when I lived in India and I could smell the stench of the Salton Sea. And sometimes it carries all the way to Los Angeles. And it smells exactly like what it is. Among all of my many photos taken here, only one showed what looked like a cryptid with a face, but not the type of cryptid that I was expecting or used to seeing or even imagining. So I decided to search the internet if there were any other sightings or incidents of any strange cryptids that might match my photo of the bug-type cryptid with the pinchers on their faces. That's when I found the movie The Monster Who Challenged the World, about a giant mollusk cryptid that comes from the sea in protest of the radiation from the then active nuclear test base. And the location of that now abandoned Navy base is on the same side of the sea that I go to. In fact, it's just down the shore a little bit. And there are many coincidences that point to this being a real Salton Sea cryptid. But for me, the most significant coincidence that is the most difficult to come to terms with is the fact that the Salton Sea cryptid in the movie also had pinchers on its face. And it's really hard for me to imagine the statistical odds for this to be a coincidence. Not to mention, it looks like the Salton Sea creature from the movie also has multiple arms. In the movie, the creature is described as a huge mollusk, which would be like an octopus creature, but the appearance of it is more like a worm/insect. My photo clearly resembles like a giant water bug with a human face except for the giant pinchers. And the creature appears to have multiple long arms that look like roach arms with little spikes on them. The cryptid definitely looks more like an insect than a mollusk. So I just said water bug because I knew that a water bug looks like a roach, only they can swim. And then I got up the courage to look up the images of water bugs on the internet. And guess what? They have pinchers on their faces, just like the cryptid I photographed. The other thing that coincides with the cryptid in my picture is the environment. The area also has tons of caves, some accessible, but most not. And they used to be underwater sea caves, but now some are exposed to the surface and mostly have bats and creatures of that nature. So what else might they have? And it's interesting that the cryptid that I photographed looks like one you could imagine living in the area, only bigger, much bigger. And I could have sworn that I remember reading that the Salton Sea Monster could shoot energy laser beams out of their eyes that would cause paralysis if you were to lock eyes while they were shooting the beams. And I looked up this capability and found an interesting article from GnosticWarrior.com titled "Looks That Kill, Eyes Project Rays of Energy." And the article went on to say that humans shoot out energy beams that can be seen in different wavelengths. And you hear about if looks could kill and evil eyes, and it explains why you can feel when someone is watching you. And I've also heard that you should be careful when looking into some of these creatures' eyes, because some of them have the ability to trap you with their gaze. Another interesting coincidence is that so many of my photos from the Salton Sea show strange color orbs and rays and light spectrums from the area, and sometimes it's because the sun is setting behind the mountains, and other times the sky is totally blue and the sun is not visible, but there will often appear this tubular orb, and you can see one in the photo of the cryptid that I took. And often they appear next to people and my wolf dog Timber. Could they be related? Or is there just this mathematical, logical reason for the abundance of orbs in this area? Because I take a lot of landscape photography, and I can say statistically that there's a huge amount of orbs in my Salton Sea pictures, every time I go there. Speaking of the movie about the Salton Sea Monster that challenged the world, well, I made a little prequel to the sequel. And in the movie, the Salton Sea Monster comes out to the surface because of the radiation from the nearby naval base. And in my version, they have come out to the surface to warn mankind of the fracking that's being done in the area and how it's about to cause a worldwide earthquake swarm like never seen before. The challenge that the humans are tasked with is to stop all industrial fracking and building around the Salton Sea. All of it, 100%, right away, forever. No time to negotiate, or it will be the end of the world as we know it. So how will the sea monster get the message to the humans? How will it be received? And how will the humans be able to understand the gravity of the message and stop work around the sea, even the loss of profit and job? For watching this episode where I compare my Salton Sea Monster cryptid photo that I took with the Salton Sea Monster from the 1957 movie. And if you like this video, don't forget to hit the like button. And if you're sharing my interest in cryptids, please hit the subscribe to my YouTube channel. And if you want to be notified when I post new videos, be sure to hit the notifications bell. I'm your host, Jenna Bosiger, and until next time, bye!